coming. Short pumps moving and the rush is coming. Grab your keys, hit the road. Let's ride. Rich has the news for the drive outside. Wake up with Rich and win the day. Don't spend your morning playing catch up. WRVA and the city's alive. 7 a.m. It's go time, Richmond.
All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. This is News Radio WRVA. My name is Rich Herrera. I have Gary Hess with me and Super Dave Ayler on this Friday, June 26th. Now, we've been reminding everybody, and Gary, you had news reports about this all week. The Virginia War Memorial will have their placing of the flags today.
Yeah, the Hill of Heroes.
Hill of Heroes. I participated last year. I'm going to go down immediately after the show. Dr. Mountcastle is going to save a flag for me to place in there, and I'll put the final one in for the day. Now, we got behind it big time last year. We got behind it big time this year, Gary, and I wanted to read you this text message. About 25 technology employees from the Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles are headed to the Virginia War Memorial to help plant the 12,000 flags to honor our fallen soldiers. We're serving because we heard about the opportunity on WRVA this morning, so thank you. I want to say thank you to the folks at the DMV, those folks that have stepped up. That's tremendous, Gary.
Thank you to the folks that are stepping up to do that, and thank you for the people who are in charge for allowing that to happen, to understand the importance of that.
Yeah, that means a lot. So, I tell people, Gary, we wake up every morning without fail, and there's a reason why I get up personally. It's
most of the time without fail.
There's a reason I get up in the morning. It's for a moment like this.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very humbling, and I'm very appreciative of to hear that. And I think it's going to be a great. By the way, I didn't have it in the story I did. I'll have it at 7:30. That the governor is going to make an appearance at the Virginia War Memorial today to help plant flags.
Again, you know what? That's something that's bipartisan.
100%.
Everybody
100%.
should be there, and when she gets there, I hope she gets a very rousing applause, because she's stepping up right there. And again, once we talk about the military, there is no left, there is no right, there is only red, there is white, and there is blue.
Yeah, the only left, right in the military is the marching that goes on at boot camp.
Well, have you ever seen them at boot camp? They have to learn the difference between their left and their right. So right. There you go. All right, Gary, I just want to share that with you.
Thank you for that, and thank you to the folks at the DMV in the technology department that are going to be doing that.
Yeah, that's pretty special.
And all the other volunteers.
Yeah, 100%. Super Dave, that's pretty cool, right?
That's great. DMV stepping up like that, and everybody, and just like Gary said, everybody that's going to be volunteering down there, that's fantastic.
And that's one of the things that we want to do this morning on Richmond's Morning News is, again, that just touches me, because I say it every day, and I really honestly believe it. We get up early every morning. Dave and I are here way before dawn. Gary's here before we are, and we work hard every morning to bring you Richmond's Morning News, because we want to make this a better place to live for you, for me, for my family, for your family, for this entire community. And we're able to do something like this, and we actually see people hearing about this and participating in it, and we have just a teeny tiny little part of that. It means a lot to us. So thank you very, very much. I'm humbled that we were able to be part of this. So again, I'm going down as soon as we're done. You still have time to get there. I'd encourage everybody. The quicker you get there, the quicker they're going to get done. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is beautiful to see that Hill of Heroes. So thank you to everybody who's going to go out there this morning and participate. All right. Coming up on the program, like I said, very awkward moment for me. We'll relive my junior high. I'm gonna tell the singer from 30th Special how my uncle beat me up because I scratched his record. So we'll talk about that coming up on the program today as well. I do want to mention something, though. Speaking of the governor, this will be a little bit partisan. Not a good day at the governor's mansion. Yesterday, a Lancaster judge put a ban on the legislation she signed from the General Assembly for the assault weapon ban until at least the end of the year, or until even longer, if that's how long it takes to adjudicate the case. So we were to have an appeal of the assault weapons ban that was going to take place July 1st, just a couple days from now. The judge has temporarily stopped it, saying, well, wait a minute, I'm not sure what's going on over here, how constitutional is Second Amendment rights. It's a major victory for Second Amendment rights advocates here in the Commonwealth. Of course, Jay Jones, who was in favor of this, said, I'm absolutely going to fight this one in court. But for the meantime, it is a judge in Lancaster, and by the way, not Tazewell, Lancaster, that said, we're going to put a halt to your idea of having this assault weapons ban. So that's one piece of bad news for the governor's agenda. The other one is, and this one's bigger, so I want to talk about this and kind of walk through this with you so you understand. State Board of Education. The majority of the members are from Yunkin. The other 4 are Abigail Spanberger appointees. So here's what's gone on. The Commonwealth of Virginia, our students have really taken a beating since COVID. Our English scores are okay. Our math scores are not good any way, shape, or form. So during the Yunkin administration, they said, we've got to change things. We got to change things up around here. We need to improve these scores. And the way that we do this is we've got to have higher standards. We're going to raise what we need. So here's what happened. During the Yunkin administration, he says, we're going to phase in. We're going to ratchet up the teaching. Then we're going to phase in what we call the cut scores. So there's 2 different tests that you can look at. And there's the national test and there's statewide test. Our statewide test, the minimums are really low. The higher cut scores are intended to better align with the exams of the National Assessment of Education Progress, the nation's benchmark assessment. After years of criticism, the Virginia's testing makes students' achievement seem stronger than it is. That's a quote from the Richmond Times-Dispatch article by Anna Bryson. So this is kind of a classic Democratic thing, and I will make this partisan now. You know, when you hear some of these big cities, hey, crime is way down, and you're like, what are you talking about? Crime is way down. I'll give you an example. We'll use Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is this. So when Vice President Harris was the Attorney General in California, she saw that crime was going through the roof, and it was going to make her look bad as Attorney General. So she needed to lower crime. Dave, how would you lower crime?
More police.
You would think, right?
I think that would be the easiest way to do it.
Tougher laws?
Enforce the laws that are already on the books.
Stiffer penalties?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what she did. What Vice President Harris did when she was the Attorney General in California is she raised the ceiling of how much it was to have a felony arrest. So if you got caught stealing 3 pairs of jeans and it was, I don't know, $200 worth of jeans, that was a felony. There was a ton of those. Shoplifting had gone just crazy off the charts. So what she did was she raised the level for felony shoplifting, for felony petty theft, from whatever it was, $150, $200 to $900. So if you got caught stealing anything basically smaller than a big screen TV, it was a slap on the wrist. It was a misdemeanor. The police, the stores wouldn't even get involved because they weren't gonna be able to do anything. It's a misdemeanor. You're out. It's a ticket. And nothing happens. So what they did in California was, instead of arresting that person who was stealing $500 worth of merchandise, they simply got the merchandise back. They said, you know what? You're banned from the store. You can't come in anymore, but we're not going to file charges. So now you look under Vice President Harris and her term as Attorney General, the state saw a rapid decline in their crime statistics. It wasn't that the crime got any better. It's how they reclassified the statistics. And that's a classic move by a lot of liberal Democrats. You saw that when Trump came back in office. Justice Department's looking at some of these numbers like, wait a minute, how are you saying crime is down so much? Well, if you reclassify it, yeah, you can artificially put the numbers down and the statistics will lie. So I bring that up because this is the story that we're seeing right now. Youngkin wanted to phase them in. At the end of this term, he said, we're going to start phasing these in 2026. Spanberger says, oh boy, I don't know how we're going to do. And someone in her administration said, you know what, here's what we're going to do. Let's push these off for another 4 years before we ratchet up these test scores and bring them up higher so they're actually legitimate test scores instead of having them artificially low compared to the other 50 states in the union. And we'll actually see really how our kids are. They didn't want that to happen under Abigail Spanberger's watch, so they proposed pushing it back from 2026 till her last year in office so she wouldn't have to wear it if you saw the horrible test scores over the next 4 years. Say one thing, do another. I will give credit, and I will give all the credit to the people on the Virginia Board of Education. They rejected that out of hand. In fact, it was almost a unanimous vote. One person abstained, said there was something about process of it. She was an Abigail Spanberger appointee, didn't want to have unanimous, so she bows out. Everybody else says, no, this is garbage. We have these scores that are supposed to start right now so we can accurately see what these kids are doing. Again, I keep watching the governor. I say one thing, I do another. I give you my intentions over here. We're all for kids. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then these are the actions we take. That's why you got to keep an eye on this. And that's why she continues to have people question the veracity of what she says, because a lot of times her actions and her deeds aren't matching the words. I want to get your thoughts on this. I say ratchet those scores up right now and start holding people accountable. I say ratchet those scores up right now and let's get a true test of where these kids are, because if you're just cooking the books, then you're letting down these kids. You're letting down the families by having lower test scores and not accurately preparing them to have any kind of educational success. And the thing that really frosts me, that if you're going to be so cynical that you're going to push it off for 4 years so you don't have to wear that, that's not leadership. That's not leadership, folks. That's passing the buck. That's kicking the can. And that's not what this Commonwealth deserves. You want to agree, disagree? I'll take your text messages, 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. We might discuss that in the 933 experiment. Who knows? We'll go live on YouTube with your comments. All right, coming up on the program, again, I will be incredibly awkward in front of you as we talk about what it was like for me in junior high with the lead singer of 38 Special coming up at 7:35. All right, today's program is brought to you in part by our friends